Hey folks, this is Shane. Thanks for taking the time to watch this little video. I'm out in Fish Lake Wildlife Area doing a little POTA and trying out my new battery box. You may have seen a video posted earlier of Shacking Greg's battery box that he used in an Apache 2800 case similar to this. I figured I'll give it a shot too and see how it goes. So here's the first video with it. I'll show you how I put it together and why I did what I did when I did it. So before I dive into the build of that battery box right behind me itself, let's answer the one typical question, a question that I had when I first got into this is why a battery box in the first place? You see comments like that where people are saying, you know, you got the battery, maybe a distribution block and some adapters. You carry those out there anyways if you're doing parks on the air or summits on the air. You're just adding more bulk, more cost, and putting some holes in a perfectly good watertight box, whether it's a Pelican style storage case like that or an ammo can or what have you. And in my opinion, those are very valid arguments. From the backpacking concept, you know the story, ounces equals pounds, pounds equals pain, so why add the additional bulk and weight for something that you really don't need? And that is a fair point. But to counter that, not every application is the same. A battery box like that is no good for parks on the air, hike-ins, or summits on the air. But for an activation like this, where I'm sitting up on the hood of the Jeep, or if I'm on a picnic table, having everything in one compact place, it has its advantages. First off, it's grab and go. You don't have to worry about forgetting your fuse box, or your power cable, or your battery itself. Everything is in one place, ready to go. Now, another advantage of cases like this, or the plastic or metal ammo cans, is not only bump protection from travel or setting up, turning down, what have you, they're also fairly weatherproof. So you're protected from dust if you're riding around in a soft top Jeep without the doors on, or if you get caught in a rainstorm. Now granted, this thing used to be waterproof, but now that I added the ports to it, it's not exactly waterproof, but I would be confident on this thing not getting wrecked if I forgot it out on the picnic table overnight and we got a little rainstorm. So those are the reasons why, in my mind, that a battery box, solar generator, juice box, whatever you want to call them or set them up, could be a good idea. Now, the fun thing about battery boxes like this is their limits are basically your budget, your imagination, and your capability. You can deck these things out to be all kinds of bells and whistles on it, meters, different types of connections, built-in lights, which a lot of people find handy, or it can be just as simple as one pass-through for a power connection and nothing else but a good watertight storage box. I'm kind of in the middle, leaning towards the minimalist side of things. As you can see inside mine, I have my 30 amp hour amped outdoors battery, and I went with this one because it's too big for me to backpack with. I use it a lot for picnic table activations for parks on the air or out of a vehicle, so it just made sense to use it for this. You see on the right hand side I have a 2-position Anderson power pole port from PowerWorks. Most of my gear is power pulled, so that works out well for me. On the far left side, I have your standard cigarette lighter style 12-volt port. Again, most of my stuff is with the Anderson power poles, but this will be handy for other activities, like when I take this thing out camping, I can plug in an air compressor to fill up an air mattress, that kind of stuff. Plus, other people who may be using this power source during, say, field day or a event volunteer type thing, they may not be set up with power poles. They may have a jack like that, so good to have options to share with others. In the center, you can see I have a voltmeter, and I really like this one. It's a 3-in-1 device, so it saves real estate and giving me a lot more bang for the buck. Most voltmeters you'll see will have a digital display, while this one has different voltages printed onto it, and then a graph with LED lights. So for me, it works more like a quick glance fuel gauge. I can see where I'm at and how much power I got until the battery goes bye-bye. It also has a on and off switch for the voltmeter itself, so I don't have that drawing down power when not in use. And it's also wired to the 12-volt plug. In the center, I have two USB ports, a USB-A and a USB-C with the PD feature. So I really like this. It has tons of features all in one. Costs less than 20 bucks on Amazon. I really like how that center plug covers up the switch and protects the ports from rain and dust, while still giving you full visibility of the voltmeter. So pretty cool. Then on the back of the case, I have one more single power pole port from PowerWorks, just because. Now a quick mention on the case itself. It is the ever popular Apache 28. You can get these from Harbor Freight. It is a knockoff, if you will, of the Pelican, the 1400 case, which is fantastic branding. You just double the model number. And I don't really want to use the term knockoff, because in my opinion, this Apache case is every good as the Pelican at a fraction of the cost. The pluck and pull foam is nice. It has the pressure relief valve. It has the O-ring going around to keep the lid sealed. The plastic that the case is made of is nice and thick and rigid. This thing is well built and definitely worth the price. Ham Crazy has a really nice label that you can get printed with a bunch of text and a few different graphic options, and it fits right here. I have one on order, and next time you see this case out in the wild, we'll probably have that sticker on it. Now, I didn't film the actual build because it would be just me swearing a lot. I'm not a builder, so but somebody with poor skills like me, if you take your time, you can make something like that pretty quickly and have good results. There's plenty of how-to videos online on how to drill it out, but basically you just punch a few holes in the side, mount your hardware through it, wire it up, and you're good to go. And again, let your imagination go wild. If you want to add some lights to it or some other features, have at it. It's your box. And also, if you're like me and you're not really good at building stuff, you can find pre-built boxes online to fill your needs. Don't forget our friend Mike, K8MRD. He builds and sells his, was it the Big Geek? I don't think he sells the Little Geek, but his Big Geek power supply he sells. And he has a lot of cool stuff going on in that. So if you're in that mindset of having everything in one spot and you want someone else to build it for you, go look at Mike's website and you can order one built by him. So there, a real quick look at the shakedown I'm doing on my new battery box. Hopefully you found this information useful, and I'll catch you on the next video. 73. And then on the back side, I have one more power pole port. Hey. And then on the back side, I have one more power. Last time. And then on the